Welcome to the Milton School Committee meeting. We are going to have our reorganization meeting after we approve the agenda. Do I have, before we start, can we, our custom is to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Padera, seconded by Mr. Walker. Now what do we do? We are now in the process of making the nominations for the school committee chair, and I think before we do that, we should thank Mr. Walker for his excellent work. I know there'll be many more thanks, but I wanted to say my own first. And I would like to hear a nomination for the chair of the school committee.
I'd like to nominate Michael Zulus as chair of the school committee.
Second?
So Mike Zulus is nominated by Mr. Walker, and it's seconded by Ms. Paderas. Mr. Zulus, are you in favor of accepting the nomination?
I will accept the nomination.
Congratulations. Oh, no, we have to roll call vote. Roll call vote by Ms. Sheila Varela. Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Kristen Bagley Jones, yes?
Ms. Padera, yes.
Mr. Donahue, yes.
And I will abstain.
So, Mar 5-0 with one abstention, and Mike Zulus is the new school committee chair. And by a show of hands, the motion to close the nominations.
Yeah, you should have done that before.
I should have, all right, well, this is, I really should have more practice at this. So we did our roll call vote, and now we should have a motion to close the nominations and move on, no? Never mind, more.
Vice Chair.
By show of hands.
Vice chair?
Vice Chair.
Well,
But Mike does that. So Mike, you can come here and take the gavel.
all right. I'll do that.
We're not closing.
Yeah, well,
Know where they're going.
It's like kind of a
before the
musical.
music
It's
stops.
like a musical chair.
That was a lot of pressure. Good job.
I know.
3 years.
Oh, I lost my.
We'll see. All right, well, thank you all for the confidence that you've placed in me. The first order of business is the nomination and vote for vice chair. And so I will open the nominations for vice chair, and I will nominate Becky Padera as vice chair. Do I have a second?
Second. Oops,
Okay.
Ms. Varela can second it.
All right. Any other nominations for vice chair? Now, I will move to close the nominations for vice chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of closing the nominations for vice chair? It's unanimous. Now, a roll call vote for the election for vice chair. In alphabetical order, Ms. Bagley Jones.
Yes.
For Ms. Padera.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. Padera.
Same.
Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
And Mr. Zulish, yes. Congratulations, Ms. Padera. So we have just a very few items on the agenda this evening. I want to take a moment, as Kristen said, to acknowledge the chair over the past year. Leroy Walker, over the past year, has been chair of this committee, and I think it is without question that he has shown an effort and a dedication and a commitment to that role that is surely unmatched in the history of this committee. I think that's fair to say. I think it's fair to say that this committee is better for his service. I think it's fair to say that the administration is better for his service. I think the district is better for his service, and I think that the students of this district have better opportunity for his service over the last year. From securing the schools to developing database decision-making to developing a targeted budget based on specific priorities. Leroy Walker has led the way and has set a very high standard to which I can only hope to approach over the next year. And so on behalf of the committee, I can certainly express my appreciation, admiration, and respect. And we have a small token, if you'll meet me in the middle, a small token of our appreciation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words.
And if I might,
Ms. Gormley.
and Mr. Walker, everything that Mr. Zulus said is true, and the summary is, we're all better because we work with you and for you, and in every aspect of the organization. And for the public to know, you're available 24/7. There isn't a day that goes by that I didn't benefit from your guidance, and I'm happy that you're still on the committee and will lend us that guidance and unbelievable direction. So on behalf of the children, would you pass that down to Mr. Walker?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you,
It's probably potato chips.
thank you.
The good ones. The
Right,
ones you
the
like.
good ones.
The ones you like.
Nope,
Not
not
baked.
the low-fat
Not baked
ones,
or
Ms. Bagley Jones.
Mr. Walker, there's nothing left to say about you. They said it all, but it's so appreciated, all the work that you've done. You really rolled up your sleeves and did an awesome job. So Mike does definitely have big shoes to fill, but thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All right. So, on to, just briefly, under the heading of next meeting agenda items, I just want to briefly run through, particularly for the new members, the materials that you have in front of you that will lend themselves to the next two meetings that we have scheduled. The first material and the biggest material, Kristen, do you have?
No, I don't. I think
okay.
it's there, maybe, or is that your,
No,
no.
No, I took it with me.
Right here.
Oh,
The packet.
Oh, okay. Okay, Glenn gave me his. It's all right.
all right. So the first material is a binder of Milton School Committee policies and procedures. These policies and procedures have been developed over the years and adopted by this committee. They govern our actions. They govern the district and how it acts in various subject matters. This is our Bible. So I commit it to you, and particularly I commit to you Section B, which is our policies and procedures for the governing of this committee and what this committee does and how it does it. Just to highlight a few things, particularly for the new members, Mr. Donahue and Ms. Varela, you are now public officials who are governed by state law. That's a little bit different than most of the boards and committees in town, which are governed by municipal law and the bylaws of this town. We are governed by state law under Chapter 71, and that is where our responsibilities, obligations, and authority lies. A few other things just to point out that you'll see in these policies. We have authority over school affairs only when we act as a group. We have no authority to act as individuals. And when we act only as a body when we act in session, and we vote on matters and we take action only in that manner. We have no authority beyond that. Our primary duties, as you'll see in these policies, are to make policy and to appraise those policies, to develop a budget, public relations, and education planning and evaluation. Those are the four broad areas of responsibilities under our policies beyond what our responsibilities are under Chapter 71. A couple of other things that you'll note, we are subject to the open meeting law, which means that whenever, and I apologize, you probably know this, but just to point out it very briefly, which means that whenever there are four of us in a group, whether it be by email or whether it be at a party, we cannot speak about matters that would be before this committee because we haven't posted a meeting 48 hours in advance. So we just need to be mindful of that, particularly on the email side, but you'll see more in your book. We're also responsible for signing warrants, and this was something that I was unaware of when I started. And when we sign the warrant, we basically review the bills of the school for the previous period, whether it be a 2-week period or 1-week period. And when you sign a warrant, so we are told by council, we are saying that there are sufficient funds in the line items of our budget to cover those bills, and that those bills are appropriate. Now, my hope is over the next few weeks, maybe, well, let me step back. We need 4 or a majority to sign the warrant in order to approve payment, and we need to do that on the schedule so people and bills get paid. My hope is that over the next few weeks, maybe prior to June 1st, maybe the 4 of us can take the laboring oar on that until you all get comfortable, but we'll see how that goes. And finally, you'll see in the policies, communication with staff, school personnel, that really should go through the superintendent. And that's pretty clear in the policies. We don't want to be a committee that overburdens the staff and the employees of the school system. And so that really should go through the superintendent. And perhaps in terms of trying to get information from administration and from the superintendent, you might copy Ms. Badera and myself, because, maybe the issue's already been raised and we can run interference and try to take a little bit more off the superintendent's plate. So those are just a few things that are in the policies. The other materials that you have in your packet, in the blue folder that you received, just very briefly, you have a handout from the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, which, in a more narrative form, talks about the roles and responsibilities of school committee. You have the schedule for the year of 2014-2015, and if you flip to the back page, that shows the back 2 pages, that shows that we have meetings scheduled for May 6th and May 20th. The reason those meetings are important, is that we have a couple of items that we should act on prior to May 1st. One of those is a school choice hearing. If this school committee decides to withdraw from school choice, we need to make that decision and have those minutes approved prior to June 1st. So we have that on the agenda for May 6th. There are some materials in your packet about school choice. And I anticipate we'll be having that, we'll be having that on the agenda for an open hearing on May 6th. The other issue that we have, and so you have some materials on school choice in your packet. The other issue that we have for May 6th is whether the swim team will become a varsity sport as opposed to a club sport. The reason the timing for that is important is that if it's decided, if this committee so decides that will change to a varsity sport, then our athletic director will have the opportunity to register with the Bay State and file the appropriate applications, which needs to be done, I think, by mid-May. So that's why that's on the agenda for the 6th, and we'll try to move forward and have a discussion of that. So you have some materials in your packet about the swim team issue as well, and that will be for discussion on May 6th. The new members have in their packet a memo from the superintendent and some information about a course put on by the Massachusetts Association of School Committees. It's an all-day course that is actually mandated by law that you attend during your first year on the school committee. Better to do it early. The opportunities are better, and the locales are closer early in May and June. So you have that information there, and Charlene Roach will be contacting you about that. So that's in there as well. That's just really for the new members. Let's see. You also have in the packet a list of upcoming events for the school year. There are a lot of events in May and June, and we like to have school committee participation at those events. And so you'll see what we have going for the next week. we have town meeting, and we're all encouraged and expected to attend town meeting, which starts next Monday, and will go Monday, Tuesday, and I think Thursday, because we'll have our meeting Wednesday. So next week is going to be a very busy week. And you'll see the other events on the calendar for the month, including various awards dinners and musicals and various and sundry things. So you'll see that events, you'll see that calendar in your packet as well. Finally, one thing that we need to move forward on is our committees. Our committees need to be formed. The way we form committees generally is the chair will nominate committee members, and this body will vote on those committees. And so you'll see in your packet a list of the committees, and also behind the list a synopsis of what those committees are and who serves on those committees currently. And so over the next week, I'm going to be soliciting interest from all of you to see what you're interested in, so we can try to get those committees formed. If we could do it by next week, that would be great. But I think if we if people need a little bit more time, if we get the committees formed by May 20th, that would probably be sufficient. But I'll be contacting you about that to gauge your interest in the next week. Let's see. I think that's everything in the packet that I wanted to point out to you. Finally, just a couple of thoughts about our meetings, and this is under the rubric of next meeting agenda. I think over the past, I have three thoughts. One is, over the last several months, I think there has been a great improvement in terms of the length of meetings, and I think Mr. Walker deserves great credit for that. I'd like to continue that. I think in the past, some of these meetings have gone on very late, and so the decision-making was made at a very late hour. We have a policy that you'll notice that says that no items are supposed to be taken up after 10:30 without a vote of the committee. We have an informal rule known as the Kristen Bagley Jones rule, which says that no matter should be taken up after 9:30. And so we're going to do our very best to hew closely to that schedule. Now, how do we do that? There are a couple of ideas I'd like you to think about. One is what we've done in the past is to have all of our presentations and then deal with issues and discussions. And one thing you may think about is whether it makes sense for us to dedicate one meeting more to presentations and the next meeting more to substantive discussions of issues. And it doesn't have to be a hard and fast rule. There may be some presentations, some nights, on the presentation night, we may have one or two issues. But if we think about it that way, that may be a way to have decision-making on important issues happen earlier in the evening rather than late in the evening. Now, another thing about length. And this is a prime example. We all love to talk, okay? And I am Mr. Walker will tell you, among the worst offenders of that. and so I would like us to try to be compendious about how we comment about things. If we can, if it's already been said, if it's there's no need to repeat it. I may try to recognize people in reverse order, so that if Ms. Varela and Ms. Bagley Jones have spoken first on the previous issue, I may recognize Mr. Walker and Ms. Padera on the next one first, not so that you're precluded, but so that if they say the same thing you're going to say, maybe you don't have to say it. So that's just a thought. Certainly don't want to choke off discussion and debate, but I think we want to try to be mindful of the length of our meetings. Point number 2 on the meetings, we're all in new roles here. We have 2 brand-new members as of an hour ago. We have a new chair. We have a new ranking member. We have a new chair emeritus. We have a new vice chair. We're all in new roles here. So I think we have to be mindful of that, and I think we have to just give each other a little bit of a break as we get used to our new roles over the next little bit. And I think we are all well aware, and we will be if we read these policies, that we act together on this committee. That doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything. That doesn't mean we're not going to have a healthy debate and discussion. But it certainly means that we're not going to be disagreeable and we're not going to be discourteous, because that doesn't help anything. That doesn't help us have smooth, efficient, or enjoyable meetings, which is the goal. And finally, my third point, as I drone on, how do we define success a year from now? For me, if we work hard and do some good work and maybe have a few laughs along the way, I will have thought it would have been a successful year. So that's all I have. And unless anybody else has anything critical, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right.
Second.
Next meeting, May 6th, 7 o'clock here.
Before town meeting.
Before town meeting, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Pavlicek. Next meeting, we will have a meeting noticed for 6:30 on Monday, to the extent that we need to address issues prior to town meeting, which sometimes happen. We will be, and this is for the new members, you may know this, and I apologize if you do, we are in session during town meeting. We may have to vote, and occasionally we have to vote during town meeting. And so we will be in session starting at 6:30 on Monday. We may not have an issue to discuss, and so if that's the case, you'll get an email saying, nothing to discuss, you don't have to be there till 7:30. But we will be noticed, and we, to the extent that something arises, we do have that opportunity to address any issues. So thank you for that, Glenn. Anything else that I've forgotten?
Are we formally adjourned when town meeting adjourns for the evening?
Yes. Good question. So we have a motion to adjourn. It's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. May 4th at 6:30, next meeting.
Good job, Mike. Wow, I learned